She was Hollywood's greatest star.
Cut!
But somewhere over the rainbow,
Next time you come back in, try not to look so fat.
life got in the way.
Is this the end of the yellow brick road?
The story of a legend.
This is quite a comeback.
Funny, I didn't know I'd gone away.
Live with Judy Garland, Me and My Shadows, Sunday, February 25th on ABC.
This week, lovers Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron are running out of time in Sweet November.
Precocious students uncover a conspiracy in recess, school's out.
And Chris Rock makes an amazing comeback in Down to Earth.
You live in a box. I could lift the lid, let some light in. If you want my help, it will require a commitment on your part.
Keanu Reeves discovers that Charlize Theron wants to have a month-long love affair in Sweet November, one of 5 new movies we'll review this week. I'm Richard Roeper, columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Sweet November is a remake of a 1968 film starring Sandy Dennis and Anthony Newley, and time has not been kind to this labored parable. The movie strains to make a romantic comedy out of pathetic and unbelievable characters, a conceited advertising man and a beautiful woman who has her own sad reason for limiting every love affair to exactly 30 days.
Do I smell new female friend?
What makes you say that?
You don't return my phone calls. Come on, there's estrogen in the air. Don't insult me. I got a life. Come on, who is she?
You wouldn't know her.
He doesn't seem like the best prospect for a serious relationship, but she likes him and makes him an offer few men could refuse.
You must be November.
I must be November.
Jason Isaacs plays the obligatory gay best friend, always necessary to keep her secrets and help her out when she wants to hide from the world. In formulas like this, the gays do all the work and never get to have any of the fun.
Very, pink flamingos.
Oh, my God. Sweetheart, he says it look like divine.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, although you could lose a few pounds.
Stop it. Brandy, this is Nelson. Nelson, this is Brandy.
Hi. Oh, he is handsome.
Put it back in your pants.
Now, this woman has a secret which is known to anyone who's seen the first movie or read this movie's publicity. She has one of those movie diseases where the sicker you get, the more beautiful you look. I call it Ali McGraw's disease. I hate it when a movie asks me to care about characters and then gives me nothing even remotely plausible to believe in. Sweet November is a tear-jerking machine that, for me, did not jerk one single tear.
Well, your comments are funnier than anything in this movie because it tries to be a comedy at first, and then it does this whiplash thing where, oh, by the way, she's really sick. And if you were going to pick anybody in Hollywood to play a workaholic, self-serious guy, would you go with Keanu Reeves? Is that bad casting?
I don't think so. He just approaches it by being abrupt with everyone.
Exactly.
Cutting
and,
off the sentences.
I knew we were in really big trouble when he climbed through the window at the Thanksgiving scene with a big bundle of presents, including a wacky wig and bubbles and dance records, as they look back on the wonderful 8 days they've spent together in this relationship.
Yeah, he climbs through the window. He's like Santa Claus. And out of the bag, among the things he takes out of the bag is an automatic dishwasher. Now, how can you get an automatic dishwasher into a bag small enough that you can climb through a second-floor window with it over your shoulder? The answer, I'm afraid, is this is a very small automatic dishwasher. But as he pulls it out of the bag, I was just shaking my head in disbelief.
And you make a real good point, too, about the obligatory gay... I want to get one of those gay best friends who exists only to live down the hall and bring you warm chicken soup and be funny and flamboyant, and they have no life of their own. I mean, talk about an offensive categorization. This is just a really terrible movie.
You got it.
Okay, our next movie is Recess, School's Out. It's a breezy and good-hearted animated caper about a bunch of grade school friends who live for playground breaks and summer vacations. Their leader is T.J. Detweiler, voiced by Andy Lawrence, and he's the only one of the group who isn't going off to baseball camp or space camp or theater camp or some kind of camp. So his solo wanderings take him past the 3rd Street School, where something very strange is going on.
No, it really happened. I saw Prickly disappear. Well, if Prickly disappeared, then who's that?
Guys, let's get back to camp.
Eventually, TJ strikes up an unlikely alliance with Principal Prickly, voiced by Dabney Coleman, as they battle Prickly's old rival, Benedict, who's trying to eliminate summer vacations by altering the world's weather patterns.
Hey, how did you get those keys?
Swiped them off William's desk when he wasn't looking. Now, come on. We've got a summer vacation to save.
Even if you've never seen the Disney television series on which this movie is based, the film does a nice job of introducing the characters and then plunging us into the fast-moving story. Factor in a soundtrack that somehow manages to blend 1960s bubblegum hits, the voice of Robert Goulet, the Colonel Bogey March from Bridge on the River Kwai, the theme from SWAT, and 2 arias, and Recess School's Out is a real delight.
I like it. I have a lot of affection for it, but I can't quite give it thumbs up. It didn't quite work for me. I kind of compared it to Rugrats in Paris, which I thought was truly a charming film, with elements in it that adults could like and identify with and be entertained by. I think this movie would be great for kids, up to maybe around 10 or something like that. I'm sure they would love it. I would recommend it for them. I'm not sure I would tell an adult to go see it by themselves. Would you?
So that, yeah, actually, I think you can. I'm an adult who went by himself, and I enjoyed it. And I would say yes. So you liked it, you had affection for it, but you're not recommending it.
Yeah, it didn't. No, because it seemed to me that it was more limited in terms of the way it really reached into its characters and into the cultural references,
oh, come on,
as opposed to Rugrats.
Oh, come on, it had flashbacks. How many times do you get flashbacks in a cartoon like that that show you these middle-aged characters as hippies, and they're using the real music, which I liked as well, too. You know, this bubblegum pop stuff. They're using the actual recordings, which I thought worked really well. And you got actors like Dabney Coleman and James Woods who add a lot of layers.
You make a persuasive case, although I think that I've seen flashbacks in a lot of cartoons. I really think I have, but I haven't really counted.
Well, not to the 1960s, though. That was my point. All right. Coming up later, Liv Ullmann directs Faithless from a confessional screenplay by Ingmar Bergman. Coming up next, Chris Rock goes to heaven and then comes back down to earth.
Your body's gone. But we can put you in another person's body as long as no one knows he's dead yet.
Lance Barton.
What is this place?
This is heaven.
Ah, heaven. I've had this dream before.
Hey, I said no. Go to hell.
That's Chris Rock on his way to heaven and down to earth, but it turns out heaven made a mistake, and he was taken up there prematurely, so he's returned to earth, and if that sounds familiar, it's because this is a remake of Heaven Can Wait, the 1978 Warren Beatty film. After complaining to the head angel, who was named Mr. King and played by Chaz Palminteri, Rock is returned to earth where he inspects his new body.
Mr. Wellington, please don't get up.
Damn, he's dead.
Yep, that's Bento.
So if I take his body, I'm going to look like that, right? Well, I can't go to the Apollo in that body. How am I supposed to get laughs looking like him?
Come on, he looks funny to me.
Once he occupies the body, he looks like a 60-ish white millionaire to everybody else in the movie, but he looks like Chris Rock to us in the audience. He falls in love with a community activist played by Regina King, but the movie loses lots of opportunities for humor because it never really deals with the way he must look to her.
Hey, Santi, Charles Wellington again. You haven't called me. You know, I was just wondering if we can get together and catch a movie, a play, something. Hey, Santi, Charles Wellington. Are you there? I know you're there! I know you're there! I got the phone, I know you're there!
Chris Rock is a bright and funny man, but Down to Earth is not a bright and funny movie.
Starting next week, both of you get a 200% raise. Are you happy?
I'm ecstatic.
It never really addresses the actual situation, and it gets bogged down instead in subplots about the millionaire's unfaithful wife, who I kind of like, as an actress anyway, and his cheating employees. And it expects Regina King to make an emotional U-turn with this old white guy that up until now she has always hated. I don't expect plausibility, but I at least expect the movie to play fair with its own premise. Chris Rock says his success has given him the freedom to choose his projects. If Down to Earth is an example of the choices he's making, maybe he should go back to being a hired gun.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, Chris Rock is a guy who in his stand-up material is so smart, and he's got a lot of serious things to say in a real funny way, and then he's in this lame braid, kind of half-hearted effort. I mean, you pinpointed that they don't really try that hard to keep all the plot elements together. In Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty and Julie Christie, the side characters who were trying to murder the millionaire remain a part of the plot. Charles Grodin, I think Diane Cannon were in that movie, and they were so good and funny. In this movie, they just sort of, the side characters just kind of fall apart. And you're right, they never really talk about what her real reaction would be to this. They call him a middle-aged white guy, but we get glimpses of him. He looks like he's about 100 years old. And that's the whole joke of it, like, oh, it's a black character within a white guy. But we don't see him. We see him always as Chris Rock. And, you know, Chris Rock is a lot of things, but I don't think he's leading man material. And it just really falls
No, I think he could be leading man material, in the right material, of course. But here, the problem is that the basic premise, I'm Chris Rock and I'm inside the 60-year-old white guy, is where all the comedy should come from. That's what's funny. And they completely try to avoid that, probably because Chris Rock is where they have all their money, and so they want him on the screen all the time. But as long as the millionaire looks like Chris Rock, where's the joke?
Then why do this movie that's you know, a remake of such a fine film, and instead they just make him a stand-up comedian? Well, that's a real stretch. Okay, coming up next, deceit and passion threaten a family's happiness in Faithless.
Så här enkelt är det faktiskt. Jag har fått ett stipendium om jag ska resa till Paris för teater. Passar väldigt bra eftersom Marcus är i Los Angeles och Isabel ska vara småningom på landet. Och du, min David. Åker som av en händelse. En slump. Sinkade ut till Paris för att träffa någon scenograf eller något annat viktigt.
A married actress outlines a deceptively simple game plan for an affair with her husband's best friend in Faithless, a devastating examination of adultery written by the peerless Ingmar Bergman and directed by Liv Ullmann. The wondrous Lena Andre plays Marianne, who has a caring and accomplished husband, a beautiful daughter, and a thriving career, yet she's mysteriously willing to risk everything for the swirling chaos of infidelity. Here she almost flaunts her intentions to her husband Marcus, played by Thomas Hansen.
David är ju faktiskt en väldigt attraktiv man. Det gör inte aldrig.
Du och David. Ska jag tala om varför det ska vara omöjligt?
Interesting that Marianne's physical connection to her husband is really more passionate than her new liaison with David, which would be unlike the conventional stereotype. But Faithless is infinitely more textured and wise than most movies about love triangles. When Marcus confronts his wife and friend, the room is almost spinning with emotions, spoken and otherwise.
Vill ni veta sanningen? Va?
Ja, om det var det nödvändigt så vill jag gärna veta sanningen.
Jag kände till ert förhållande. Eller vad fan det här ska kallas. Redan före Parisresan. Jag hade nämligen fått ett ganska intressant brev från en av dina kollegor, Marianne. Ja, vem kan väl göra detsamma?
That's Christer Henriksen as David. Faithless is told through the eyes of an aged director named Bergman, played by Erland Josephson, who is writing his memoirs with the help of an actress who becomes the image of Marianne in his memories. For Bergman is actually David, still haunted by the affair after all these years. Like David, we're seduced by Marianne's timeless face, casual sexiness, and sharp wit, and so we're floored by the consequences of their actions. Faithless is a daring movie for the 21st century. It strives to teach us an old-fashioned lesson about morals.
Yes, it does, and I think it also shows Bergman still struggling with the results of an affair that, according to his autobiography, he had in 1949. And, of course, that office and that room and that desk and that view and the beach and the island are all his island, his beach, his house, where he lives, and this is very autobiographical. And what's interesting, at one point, the most horrible, unspeakable thing that happens in the movie is handled in dialogue. It's described by Marianne, and we have to picture it in our mind. That's the same thing he did in his movie Persona, where there was a scene on a beach between two women and two boys, and we never see it. It's more dramatic this way. It's like this is just too painful to be shown on the screen.
Exactly.
And it becomes really a confessional moment.
But we feel that so strongly because we've already invested so much in these characters. And there are all kinds of layers going on here. Liv Ullmann directing this, who had an affair with Bergman, and he's her mentor. But even if you don't know that and you just see this movie going in cold, knowing none of this stuff, it's so effective because it's so well done. And unlike so many Hollywood movies that just go, well, you know, affairs are funny and affairs are the way things go, this is like, okay, wait a minute, you know, in a situation like this, many people are affected by this.
Yes.
The most of which is the 9-year-old daughter, who's sort of a side character, but when the camera moves in on her face and she hears what's going on around her, it's really devastating.
It is. I love the way that he uses an actress who is also the actual woman. It's as if she's sort of there, and yet at the same time she's sort of in his imagination. And together they work out what really happened and what it all meant.
Yeah.
Our next movie was named the best film of the year by the National Society of Film Critics. It's from Taiwan. It's titled Yi Yi. It begins with a wedding, it ends with a funeral, and it's about a family's sense of loss. A businessman named N.J., whose mother-in-law is dying and whose wife is distant, perhaps as a result, reconnects in this scene with Sherry, his girlfriend from 30 years ago, during a business trip to Tokyo. His Japanese colleague has got them all figured out.
I know you. You are his music. He changed your life, I know.
How do you know?
I met him only twice. I already know everything. Very easy. Okay.
Back home in Taipei, we meet NJ's children. Ting Ting, his teenage daughter, is torn because she's fallen in love with Fatty, her best friend's boyfriend. And then there's 8-year-old Yang Yang, who gets into trouble at school. Yang Yang's simple but observant questions about life provide a counterpoint to the murky emotional turmoil of the adults.
爸比，我们是不是只能知道一半的事情呢？
你在问什么？爸比听不懂。
我只能看到前面，看不到后面，这样不是就有一半的事情看不到了吗？
Yi starts at the middle of things as a jilted woman throws a tantrum at a wedding, and it takes a while to figure out who all the characters are, but by the end of the film, we know them very well. The film is set in Taiwan, but this could be an American family doing well in material things, but haunted by the sense that something important has been misplaced in their lives. The director, Edward Yang, sometimes puts his characters in sterile urban wastelands, showing them alone in hotel rooms or behind glass, cut off from society. It would be depressing if little Yang Yang didn't provide so much humor and affirmation for the future. Yi Yi really grew on me.
I think it's a great movie, and you're right, it's a lot of universal things, although it's always specific to the culture. I love when the two businessmen from different countries get together and they have to speak English as a common language, which kind of makes a forced politeness as they're talking about some very serious things. But there are 6 or 8 different stories running through this movie, and I cared about all of them. Yeah. Each one of them was equally compelling, and there were surprises, there are laughs, and the movie goes on for 3 hours, and there's not a single wasted shot or wasted scene in this film.
See a movie like this, it makes you realize sometimes how superficial the view of domestic life is in a lot of American
films. We
films.
saw a piece of junk called The Amati Girls a month ago to try to tackle the same things and failed so miserably where this film succeeds. Okay, coming up next, a Civil War epic from one of this year's Oscar-nominated directors is my video pick of the week. The martial arts epic Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has just been honored with 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Foreign Film, as well as a Best Director nod for Ang Lee, an astonishingly versatile artist who in 1999 tackled a very different period piece about warriors in love. It's called Ride with the Devil. My video pick this week is one of the most authentic and gritty films ever made about the Civil War, starring Tobey Maguire and Skeet Ulrich as hardcore rebels who join the Missouri Irregulars, a ragtag bunch of bushwhackers who sense that the South is losing the war, but they keep on fighting because they're consumed with hatred for the murderous Yankees.
Well, Dutchie, that Federal Alf Bowden, he rode straight from here and killed your father. He shot him in the neck down by the river, then booted him along Main Street till he died.
Like Crouching Tiger, Ride with the Devil takes a breather from the fight scenes for a romance.
So do you want to marry me?
No, not too bad.
Good. That's good news, because I wouldn't marry you for a wagon load full of gold.
There are no real heroes in Ride with the Devil, and the battle scenes contain few moments of glory. Lee's camera provides some breathtaking images of the open country and several expertly choreographed battle scenes, but the story he tells is one of rebels with a lost cause fighting an unwinnable war against a more powerful enemy, the harsh elements, and each other. Ride with the Devil is an overlooked gem from one of the world's great directors, and it's my video pick of the week.
Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this week's show. 2 thumbs down for the sappy tearjerker Sweet November. A split decision for Recess School's Out, although I do recommend it for kids. 2 thumbs down for Down to Earth with Chris Rock. 2 big thumbs up, though, for Faithless, the powerful examination of infidelity. And finally, 2 more big thumbs up for Yi Yi, a touching slice of life from Taiwan. And so those 2 foreign films are among the best films I've seen, not only this year, but let's say...
They'll hold up as the year goes on, or it'll be the best year in the history of films. And if you have a choice between Sweet November and Down to Earth, get back in your car and go home. Okay, remember you can hear our reviews at ebert-roeper-movies.com and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, more new movies, including 3,000 Miles to Graceland, starring Kevin Costner and Kurt Russell.
Time to go to work, baby.
Also, a primate takes over Brendan Fraser's mind and body in Monkey Bone.
Hiya, boss.
That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.